Hello there, everybody, and good evening, good morning, or good afternoon, depending on what part of the world you happen to be in. My name is Craig Peliquin, and we are here with our MLM Mastermind, and live. I'm here live in Vancouver, and my co-host, Dennis Wilson. Dennis is live in Japan. Dennis, let me bring you on. There you are.
Hey, Craig, thanks for that. Hello, everybody from Japan. It's 10:30 in the morning over here. I want to say that I've been up for hours, but I have not. It was a late night trying to hit some work in the East Coast of North America.
There you go. Well, everybody, so what we're going to be sharing today are just some of the secrets that Dennis and I have learned over the past little while. Dennis, why don't we just start off right with getting to the slideshow presentation, share a little bit about who we are, and get right into it so we're not wasting anybody's time. Dennis is the president of an MLM software company called Internetnextstep.com. Owns two subsidiaries, HourADay.com, which is the host of our meeting here tonight, and Small Biz Dream, which is the non-MLM version of HourADay. He's an MLM consultant, has over 20 years of MLM experience, has earned over $1 million annually as an MLM distributor, and that's a real $1 million a year, not with the fake multiplication, because he happened to make $100 grand in 1 month. And he's been an MLM trainer. A little bit about me: I am the VP of an MLM company. I'm not going to tell you which company I'm with because it doesn't matter right now. This is our generic training. I've got over 20 years of experience. Dennis and I actually go back to the same MLM company. That's where we met. I've done the same thing as him. I've been $1 million income earner. I own my own MLM company that I got up to 10 million in its first year and up to 4 million a month. MLM trainer as well. And so what we're going to be talking about here today is a little bit about getting onto a list and how important the list is in building your team. So I'm going to see if I got Dennis back here at all. So Dennis, did I manage to get you back at all? You able to talk? Well, now we know what was going on. So welcome back to the land of the living. Okay, so let's get into talking about the list a little bit there, Dennis, with our guests, so they can understand why the list is so important. First of all, why is a list so important, Dennis?
Well, I mean, there's more than one reason. Everyone thinks the list is all about bugging your friends, family, and neighbors, when in fact the list actually serves two really important functions. One being that it's your armor, your ability to have 5 people say no and not freak out because you have 300 on a list. More importantly, is it proves your commitment to the business. If you spend some time creating a list like your upline has requested, or if not, then your upline should be requesting, it shows that you're committed to the business and you're teachable and you're coachable. It's way faster to start in the warm market and learn, and way cheaper than to start in the cold market and learn. Of course, when you're in the cold market, you're either spending your time or your money. So the more leads you generate, the more time or money you're spending to generate them. Do you really want to go and learn when you're spending money? Your friends and family are free. If they decide it's not for them, that's fine. You're going to learn a whole lot. And more importantly, your friends and family are going to be the rudest, most horrible people compared to anything you're going to experience further on in your MLM career. So it's a great place to start. Thicken up your skin and just basically hold yourself accountable to the process, and show your upline that you are committed and coachable.
Right. So you created an app. Maybe you could talk a little bit about the app, because we say now there's an app for that. I mean, MLM List Creator Pro. I mean, it's great with a ROMAR. We'll get into what a ROMAR means, but it's the ultimate memory jogger. We've been doing lists since that's what we were taught 22 years ago, Dennis. If you don't have a list, I've never seen a 6-figure income earner, never mind a 7-figure income earner, that didn't have a list.
I totally agree.
So why don't you talk? I mean, you're the one that designed it. Why don't you talk a little bit about how this works and why, sometimes having an app, it's a little bit easier than pen and paper.
Well, I mean, yeah, we used to do this pen and paper, and I mean, I used to hand out paper renditions of an Excel spreadsheet, and I'm starting to date myself now, because I would then say, and for those of you who are familiar with Microsoft Excel, you can download the actual spreadsheet that's interactive and it'll do most of the work for you. But I would actually hand out paper bundles to have people actually start filling in a live training. We'd do a 90-minute training to prove that everyone can get 150 names in 90 minutes. And then we'd actually go through this process where we would list them all up. Then we would start to rank them. We would score them on a bunch of stuff. And I just went, as the app world came around, I said, I need an app to give my developers to learn on. And I threw the MLM Communicator app or the MLM List Creator app at them, and they built it. And, it's a really, really handy app. It's fast, it's cool, it's fun. And, we released it to the world.
Yeah, and it's inexpensive too. It's like it's only a few dollars to download.
Yeah,
I think you get like $2 or $3 or something like that.
Something like that. I haven't even looked lately. So I know that it sells awful well at whatever price it is.
All right, well, let's bring up the presentation here a little bit more, so you can walk them through it a little bit. You got a nice little PowerPoint that you've created, so let's go through it a little bit. So it's really simple. I mean, you download the app. You can get it on the App Store for iPhone, or you can get it at Google Play for Android. You got to register it first, so there's a register button. Registering is really simple. All you got to do is put in some information. You put in your first and last name, your email, your phone number, and why did you add your upline's first name? Why does the app care about your upline, Dennis?
Well, I mean, this app is as much about keeping you organized as it is about keeping you accountable. So when you put in your upline's first name, and actually on the next screen, you'll see that we also ask you for your upline's last name and email address. That's because if you give this information, this app is actually going to communicate with your, downline. It's going to communicate with your upline how you're doing. So when you get to 50 people on your list, it's going to send your upline a little note saying, hey, they got to 50 people on their list. So it'll actually allow them to track your progress and hold you accountable, because they won't have to phone and ask you if you're doing it. They'll know.
Right. And that's really important. So once you've gone and done that, it's going to bring you back to the registration page and say, thanks for registering with us. And then you're able to go and log in. So you're creating your site first. So write down your username and password. I mean, Dennis, how many people forget their username and password? It's ridiculous.
Oh, according to our support people, everyone, but I'm sure they're not right.
And then it brings you back to the login page. So enter your username, password, then click the login button, and that's going to bring you right into the app. Now, this is right now only available as an app, correct? You can't use this on the computer?
That is correct.
Right. So the whole idea here is while you're sitting there watching TV, or you're watching a movie, or you're in a lineup, here's a way you can go and build your list while you're sitting in the back seat of a car or in transit heading into work. Really, really easy to go. Now, this is what you used to tell people in this helpful hint. You were pretty strong about this, Dennis.
I was very strong about this. You basically have to do this process. You have to go through it. You can't prejudge. You have to put everyone you can think of. If your mom's alive, she's on it. If your mom's friend's alive, she's on it. Everyone you can think of, because the harder you stress your brain to think of everyone you can think of, the more the day after tomorrow, the people that really matter are going to pop into your mind. So it's an incredibly important process to go through versus, oh, I don't think they'd be interested. Oh, I don't think they'd be interested. Oh, I don't think they'd be interested. I mean, if I got 10 people blank on a list when I actually was getting this done in a training, I would ask them to leave. You're not here to learn. You're here to do it your way. That doesn't work for me. You should go home and play with your kids or something. Because
you were stronger on that too, because you told people if you didn't get that email within 48 hours of them downloading the app, you would show them how to get out of the company.
I was worse than that. If they didn't show me a list of 150 people, I would.
So there you go. But you know what? It's better to be strong to get the right people to work with than to work with people that are not right to build the business.
Well, they said they wanted to be on the A team, and they said they wanted to do it right and make a lot of money. So I could be very hard on them because they agreed to that method.
Right. And as you just said, you don't prejudge. You write down everybody you can. You're going to rank them later. Most likely the people that you didn't want to put down, like your mother or your brother or your sister, they're not going to make the top 30 anyways in most cases.
That's correct. That's what you find that constantly happening.
Right. And it's just really simple. What this does is it actually opens up 170 questions. And these are just memory joggers. And they're simple little questions. Is your mother still alive? Yes. Actually, it says no. It's really funny because it says, oh, really sorry to hear that. We'll put her in our prayers. I mean, so you get a little bit of fun with it as well. And then if she is there, you put in her name. If she's in your address book or on Facebook, you can import her information, which is really neat. So you don't even have to have the information. You can import the contact from your phone. If you click phone, it'll go into all of your different contacts on your telephone. You choose the correct person and you can import them, or you can click on Facebook and it'll log into your Facebook app on your phone, and you can choose them from your friends list on Facebook. I mean, phenomenal the way you've done that, Dennis.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just about trying to make the process easier. I mean, in the old days, you had to go to all these various sources and write the names down from them or try to think of them or whatever, where now we just make it a bit easier because we're really just after names and getting your brain emptied, right? And if you choose to import people that are Facebook friends that you barely know, that's your choice. I think you're crazy and really not deserving of a large income if you do, but that's totally up to you. We allow it to happen, though we do recommend that you don't let people in that you don't actually know or have a relationship with of some sort, right? And it's okay if you haven't contacted them in a long time, but you're going to have to recreate that connection.
Yeah. So the 170 memory jogger questions are going to start with your family, then go to your friends, both online and offline, then business associates and coworkers, then people you met on vacation or companies that you do business with. I mean, it's really opening up your mind. It's the same questions that we had on spreadsheets 22 years ago when we went to our first MLM university training.
Yeah, it's kind of like every MLM book ever written's memory jogger, plus all the newfangled things that you can do like LinkedIn and Facebook and whatever. And it just keeps asking you. And there's also a free form entry where you can just click the button and start adding people you can think of because you don't want to go through the questions.
Right.
So we make it easy.
And you can take a break at any time. And you can also skip questions when they're not applicable, but don't skip too many. I thought this was really kind of a neat thing. Why did you put this in here, Dennis?
Well, because again, it just frustrates me to no end that people say they want to make $1 million in MLM and then they get in and I mean, they don't even do the basics. They just don't commit. They do nothing. They think it's all beneath them, yet they're there telling everyone how they're going to go make $1 million and people should join them. So this is just a little thing to say, hey, can't believe that you actually don't know anybody. We fear that you're prejudging. Remember, if you think of a name and picture their face, write their name down. It doesn't mean at this stage you're going to try to contact them. Do not prejudge. Let our foolproof system do the judging for you. It's just a way of saying, hey, wake up.
Yeah.
You bought into a business. Treat it like a business.
Well, people prejudged us. I'm guessing they would never have talked to us. I mean, I was a clown. I mean, and you were in the sign business. I mean, who thought we were going to be actually in network marketing?
I can't even tell you how many people, when I called them about my first MLM, said, oh my God, I can't believe you're interested in that. I didn't put you on my list because I was sure you wouldn't be. Man, I don't even know how much money that cost them.
That's true. Now, once you've completed all the questions, then the system lets you rank your contacts, which is really cool because a contact is a contact, but really you don't want to have to go and reach out to 300 people. We're really looking for your top 30 and then from there get into your top 10. Isn't that right, Dennis?
That is absolutely right. You're not after everyone on your list. You're after the best ones on your list.
Right. And 7 questions are going to be asked about each contact and you're just going to give your gut reaction type of answer. So let's just go over what those questions are. And maybe you can share, what your thought process was, why these questions are important.
Well, I mean, the first question is money, right? We're determining what their capability they have if they should decide to get involved with you. Contrary to popular belief, somebody on welfare is not a prospect, in my opinion. So therefore, you'd say that they're broke or that they're the lowest level only because that's where they deserve to be and it's not their fault. And we're not saying they're bad people. We're saying that if you're looking for people to build a great big group with and a great big team with, they're the last ones you should call. If as one of the criteria. If all the other criteria are perfect and money's the only thing holding them back, there's a solution to that. But amazingly enough, as you go through these, you realize that a lot of people that don't have money don't have any of the other attributes you're looking for someone to partner up with in this business.
Right. And I mean, Dennis, we've been in this 22 years. Have you ever seen somebody join on the lowest possible, just get in with a distributor kit and actually go out and make any money?
Only once.
There you go.
And that was my friend from a trailer park who found my fax in the garbage of the office building that he cleaned for a living. And he showed up without business attire. I said, I'm sorry, it's only business attire. And he was hunched over and a beard and grubby, almost looked homeless. And he ran down to the Lost and Found and got a size 962 jacket and some ski size shoes. And he came back and said, okay, business attire, is this okay? I said, yes. Yes, absolutely. And then I told him to do a list, and he came back to me with 103, 109, 120, 127. I go, what's this? He says, I don't really know their names, but that's all the people that I have a relationship with in the trailer park that I live in, and I can go knock on their doors. And then it came to money. He didn't have any money. I said, I'm going to lend you a set of product. You go sell it. You come back with the money. I'll give you another set of product. He went and sold enough product to join at the lowest level of the company. Not just a distributor kit, lowest level, got his own product, went on to then carry on upgrading himself, and eventually topped out about $2,000 a month. Fantastic story. But folks, it's a wonderful story. Don't chase people like that. I was not being kind. I was doing everything I could to make him go away because I prejudged and didn't think he qualified. So, yes, it can happen. But
you were already making good money. You were able to be Mother Teresa at that point.
Correct.
You weren't a brand newbie. You knew what it took, and he did what he was told to do.
Well, and interestingly enough, as we go through the rest of the questions, you'll see why he would have qualified anyways.
Okay, let's get back to the rest of the questions. Let me start sharing them again. Hang on a second. Let me get back to that and share some more with everybody. Okay, so let's get to the next question. Next question is about success.
Yeah, so this isn't just about financial success. If somebody's the best piano player ever, or the best, motorhome cleaner there is, or anybody who is doing the absolute best at anything, that shows you that these people know that it's okay to work hard at something to become the best at it. And that would give them more points than if they weren't successful.
Great. And let's talk about entrepreneurial.
Yeah, so entrepreneurial again. I mean, just because you're successful doesn't mean you're entrepreneurial. You might be the best kindergarten teacher on the planet. Doesn't mean you're entrepreneurial. It means you're the best kindergarten teacher on the planet. On the other hand, you may be the best teacher on the planet and incredibly entrepreneurial. So they're different. Do you like business? Have they ever started a business? Have they tried network marketing? Did they do lemonade stands as a kid? Is there something buried deep in them that you need to bring back out? Entrepreneurial is a key asset when it comes to becoming very good at MLM.
Sure it is. Open-minded. This is the big one.
Well, because again, right, you could have the best teacher on the planet who's also entrepreneurial, but they're completely closed-minded. So they're entrepreneurial only about the things that they finally approve of, or maybe they're entrepreneurial in spirit, but because they're not open-minded, they're never going to be an entrepreneur. So open-minded is quite critical. They need to be able to get over the fact that some of their friends might say no. My own father called me crazy until I made $1 million, and then he just didn't believe it. He said, "Oh yeah." Anyways, so you got to be able to put up with all that. You got to be open-minded to everything that's going on around.
Yeah. Local, I mean, that's just based common sense. It's so much easier to build locally and support a local team than somebody that's, you got to drive an hour or two, or you're an airplane right away. Although the internet does make it easier today.
It does, but it's still easier to form belly button to belly button relationships for a core team that then spits out to other places. And keep in mind, the number one reason people try to build outside of their area is everybody believes that people that live somewhere other than where they do will be more interested. I just had a client in the MLM software world tell me that he's giving up, and he's an Australian client. And the funny part was, his reason was Australians just don't like MLM. Interestingly enough, to back that up, I can tell you that as Australia is one of the fastest growing for any company that gets a foothold in there. It's one of the fastest growing countries on the planet. So it's actually one of the hot spots for MLM, but the people living there are convinced that everywhere else but there is. Same thing happens when you're local versus trying to prospect far away. Make sure you go local, because the people are just as interested next door as they are miles and miles away.
And finally, can they teach?
There you go. Teaching is actually a more important skill for MLM than selling. In fact, selling often is a problem because you have to learn to stop selling to be successful. You need to learn to share, teach, and sort of help and nurture.
Well,
So
you
it's a
notice you
lot
didn't
different.
have one of the criteria, Dennis, was it, are they good salespeople?
That's correct. Well, and if I did, then I would actually be giving them negative points if the answer was yes.
There you go. Now, the cool thing about your system is you just click save and it's going to rank based on your answers. It's going to rank and give you a top 30 list.
That's correct.
And when you get your top 30 list, you click on the top 30 button, and then you're going to have to enter in the final. Once you got your top 30, these are the ones that are important. The rest don't matter. Now, you may have only put in a first name and nothing else. Now you need to go and at least fill in all the rest of the data so you know who your top 30 contacts are. This actually could take a little bit of time.
Well, yeah, and so it should. This is your top 30 contacts. This is potentially the beginning of your six-figure income.
Right. And you're going to put down any details you didn't put down initially, like an email, a phone number, Skype, best way to proceed with this contact. And you're literally going to say right off the bat, you know, how am I going to go and proceed with them? And you're going to probably have your upline helping you with this. Wouldn't you agree, Dennis?
Yeah, I mean, normally you want to have a little discussion with your upline. So this is where the system can actually be set where it'll email your upline your top 30 when you're done it. But you also maybe want to be on the phone with them as you do it. So you can explain what kind of person this is and why maybe take him to a presentation versus take him to a prospecting system or directly to the company site or just sending them some information by good old fashioned snail mail. As silly as that sounds, direct marketing by the mailbox is currently one of the most effective ways to reach people because everyone's given up on it. Or, of course, it's possible that your upline's going to go, you know what? I just don't think you should call this guy.
Can happen. Can happen. I mean, this is your top 30. This is technically your chicken list, right?
That's right.
And as you just said, once you've done that, it's going to automatically send a copy to your upline if you enter their email, and then you're going to work together. And the HourADay app really is the best way to be able to follow up with these people and be able to start the process. And we're going to go into a little bit about how that works right now, aren't we?
I think so.
Awesome. So before we do, though, you got last little thing here. You added this really cool thing, and this is what I like to have for the leaders in my company to be able to use that want to be accountable. I mean, accountability is everything. And you added this ROMAR, record of my activity report. And maybe you could just talk just quickly a little bit about how that works and why that's so important.
Well, I mean, the biggest problem in MLM is that nobody is accountable, right? So we spend our $1,000, we get some great products, and then typically what I found is, as an upline of a very large team, is I heard every excuse possible from my people as to why they didn't have time to do the business or why they couldn't do it the way that was best. You know, and it's just like you're a kindergarten teacher trying to tell kids that you're not actually allowed to poo in your pants. It's not acceptable, right? So you shouldn't do it. But instead in MLM, I mean, we just literally have all these people say, well, I'm not going to make a list. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. Or worse yet, they say they will and then they do nothing. The ROMAR is going to keep you accountable to yourself and to your upline, because when you look at the end of the week at your ROMAR to see how much work you did, and then you look at your paycheck and you see the correlation, you're going to do one of two things, both of which are excellent for me as an upline. You're going to stop dicking around and get to work, or you're going to quit. Either way, it's good for me because you're going to stop wasting my time and yours. You're going to stop pretending. You're going to stop doing all of the crap about, oh, I made 23 calls yesterday. Nobody was interested. Really, give me a list. Let's call one of them together to see if we can turn them around. Oh, but I don't want to do that. Right? It just stops the lying, stops the crap, holds everyone accountable. So if you want to be accountable to yourself, right? Why do we go to work every day? Because we don't want to get fired.
Exactly.
We're accountable to our manager or our boss. In MLM, we're accountable to no one. This will help to get you that accountability.
Yeah. If it was against the law to be a distributor in your company, would there be enough evidence to convict you? Typically, the answer to that is no. So let's just go a little bit more into the ROMAR and how that all works. I mean, all you do, and I mean, Dennis, you just got your app open on your smartphone. Every time you do an activity, you just click the button. So if you make a new prospecting call, you click it. If you do a three-way call, you click it. If you do a meeting, you click it. If you do an email, you click it. If you send out some samples or you get an enrollment, you click it. I mean, it's really that simple. And at the end of the day, it emails that to your sponsor to keep you accountable.
Yep.
right? And if you consistently do not do the activities leading to success, you're going to be paid what you're worth. This is so true. And if you and eventually it'll stop emailing your upline when it's all zeros.
Yeah, it just gets bored. Like your upline did.
Get the cool thing that you created here is the summary, and you get it daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually, and then forever. So you really know if you're doing something or not.
You can see if you got better or not. You can see if you are actually on the way to $100,000 or if you're on your way back to a second job.
Exactly. So what's next? You made a list. You're going to work with your upline and approach your top 30. You're going to set some appointments. Now, we talked about this in previous trainings about how to set appointments, your 2-on-1, webinar, hotels, in-home presentations. You can get all these tools at these couple of places. So maybe you could talk a little bit about HourADay here, Dennis.
Yeah, so HourADay is the prospecting system that sponsors these training calls. And what we're going to do next is actually get into showing you how it works. How would you actually use it if you now had your top 30 list? So we're actually going to show you how to do that. And then you can also get a free trial of the HourADay system at www.tw.bz/HAD. And of course, if you go to the tools URL that you see here, you can get a direct link to the Google Play or the iPhone store to download the apps. So your apps and everything are all available from these two URLs.
Great. Okay, so I'm going to get back now and bring it up to you now. You've got the ability to share your screen because you can actually go into show people, and I highly encourage you, get in there and get the free trial. Normally it's $29.99 a month. You're giving somebody $30 for free today. And are you not also going to give them an additional 30 days? And all they have to do is just send you a direct message through Twitter?
Direct message on Twitter or email me at Dennis@HourADay saying watch the presentation or watch the HourADay training, and I'll extend your trial to 60 days.
Well, that's like $60 just for having to listen to us for 45 minutes. Yeah, that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah. And now what we're going to do is we're going to show you how you would most easily implement the system. So we're not going to go through all the features of it. That would take 6.5 hours. We're going to go through some basics, and I'm going to do my best to keep the flow along the lines of what you would do if you now had your list and you were ready to start reaching out.
Awesome.
So I'm going to share my screen now, Craig.
Okay, you share your screen. I got to set up so your screen is the main one.
Okay, so if I share this and I go to there.
There you go.
See this?
We can see it.
So this is the sales funnel. So this is where you would be sending people to. So then the question is,
Dennis, let me give them that right now. And that is at
258-788.com/HAD demo.
Okay, so this is just a demo site, everybody. So if you go to it, don't worry, you're not going to be contacted by somebody and pitched on something. This will just show you the complete demo that you're going through right now.
Well, I might call you just to say hi. You never know.
Okay, well, if you're lucky. if they put down in the info box the more information, Dennis, please call me and say hi. I'm sure you'll call.
I might. Yeah. Okay. So of course we've got this great sales funnel, but before we show you the sales funnel, the first thing that sort of comes to mind is how do I get people to the sales funnel, right? So if we actually go into the system, so I'm now logged into the system, a demo system, and the very first thing I would do is I would add a contact. So I'm actually adding a person right now that is not me. So it's going to be Craig.
Oh, thanks.
Yes. So I'm actually going to add Craig because he's my friend and he was on my top 30 list.
And you actually know me.
Yeah, I do actually know you. Right.
Master of the universe. I like that.
Kind of thing. So it's actually going to first send you an opt-in email. But I'm going to show you now that I've added you. Now, I may not add you to that right away because if you're thinking about it from the point of view, if you had no contact with the person, you don't have permission to email them, then you wouldn't actually add them to that series right now. You would simply add them as a contact, and then we would jump into here and we would start doing the things that are required to get their permission. So we've got a handy little phone script function here that'll just run you through a really, really simple script that works brilliantly to get permission to get to the next step. So it even puts in, hey, Craig, it's Dennis. Did I catch you at a good time?
Oh, that's fantastic.
Craig says yes. right? And I say, great. Hey, I was just reaching out as I recently tripped across a business I think we might be able to make a little money with. Would you mind if I sent you some information, take a look, give me an opinion on? I value your business sense and just want to make sure I'm not crazy. It'll only take 10 to 15 minutes for you to help me out. And Craig says, sure, what's it all about? And I say, it isn't easy to explain over the phone, but I have your email. Would it be okay if I shot you over a link to a great system I use to help explain it better than I can? Then once you've looked at it over the next 10 minutes, we can discuss your thoughts and feedback. And Craig says,
I want you to tell me over the phone.
Sorry, it's brand new to me and I just wouldn't be able to do it justice. Maybe you give it a miss for now if you're uncomfortable taking 15 minutes to take a look for the full picture. Sorry to bother you. I'm going to shut you down right now. Goodbye, Craig. Bugger off. You're not the kind of guy I want to work with. Next. Why can I do that? Because I got 299 more people to go on my list.
Exactly.
And what if you said yes? Then basically, great. I'm going to send you a link and give you some information. Okay. So once I've done that portion, then I would come here and say, okay, well, Craig said he was interested in getting some information. So then I'd actually go into the subscribe button and I would add you to the pre-prospecting series. Okay. You're already added, so I'm not going to add you again. So what is the pre-prospecting series, you may ask? Well, if we go into campaigns, edit campaigns. And remember, when you join the HourADay system, all of this stuff is pre-formulated. You pick a template, all this content and everything is already there for you. So if we go into edit emails between the pre-prospecting series, we can actually see what it's going to say. And the very first one is, don't know if it's for you or not.
And it automatically it's macro driven, Dennis. So it's putting my name in and knows what to do.
That's right.
Literally, this is all ready to go out of the box. You're set up with this on the free trial in like 45 seconds. And you can start using it.
That's right. So now you've basically gone and you've added this. They're going to get these emails. That's going to keep pushing them to go and look again if they haven't yet looked. Because, of course, most people say they will and then they don't. So once they've been pushed, they're finally going to click on the link, which is going to take them to your sales funnel. Having trouble making ends meet? You don't need another job. You just need to understand the concept of leverage. Watch this quick video now to see if this might work for you. So we click here. Now the video won't play with sound, so I'm not even going to bother. We'll let it play a little bit so you can see the flavor of it. But notice that it also types all of the words. And the reason for that is then if someone doesn't have the sound on, they can still somewhat understand what's going on. So a lot of times you're going to see words. It's a little bit of a combination between a video scribe method and an actual video clip.
Great.
Okay, so normally this just goes on.
You've got this set up, Dennis, so that this goes on for the entire amount. Now, normally somebody wouldn't be able to get to the end without watching the entire video, but you've set it up for our demo, so that next button has appeared already, correct?
Correct. This next button is controllable by you by a number of seconds. And we always recommend you set it to 10 seconds before the end of the length of your video. So in this case, it's 4 minutes and 25 seconds. We'd recommend it set to 10 seconds, less than 4 minutes and 25 seconds. Okay, so that next button won't even show up. Because if someone's not willing to watch your whole presentation, they've already disqualified themselves. Right? If they're just here to fill in your form and reverse prospect you, we don't want them. We need to protect our babies. So the next button's really critical. You know, prospecting people think is beg them in. I mean, I can get you 1 million prospects. If I offer everyone $100,000 for filling in my form, I can get you 1 million prospects. You just need a lot of money. And that's not what we're trying to do here. You're not trying to beg people through your system. You're trying to pre-qualify them to see if they're interested in something that's like what you do. And if they're not, we want them to go away and not waste your time. So let's click the next button so we can see what happens next. So we now are brought to our survey page, right? Now we ask for a lot of information on the survey. And actually I'll do this one as Tina Turner. Yeah, that's good. But Tina Turner has just walked through. And she has a kind of odd phone number. And of course, it's tina@tina.com. And I think she lives in Armenia now. I'm not positive, but that's what I've heard. And I don't have any idea what the city names are in Armenia. And we don't have any provinces for them. And then we actually ask them. So we've actually asked them for their time zone, which most people, this just makes it easy for you because now you know immediately, which will show you in the contact manager, where they are, so you know when you can call them. So by asking them, they give you that information instead of you having to look it up. Now, we ask for a lot of information. You don't have to. All of this is configurable by you. If you don't like what we're doing, you can change it all around, make it your way. But we ask for a lot of information because, again, we see this as we're trying to qualify. Do I need their country? I don't care. I really don't. Right? Do I need their city? No. Do I need their province? No. But if I ask them for more information and they comply and fill it in, they're showing me that they're coachable. They're showing me that they're interested. They're showing me that they can read, which is a real bonus.
That's true.
And then down here we say, hey, please check the appropriate box. Hey, I work part-time. Best way to communicate, email. Best time of day, noon. None, noon. Questions or comments? Sounds cool, right? Continue. So I've now filled in the form. So as soon as I filled in the form, I actually get a push notification to my phone that someone has filled in my form. Okay, and I can immediately know that they have, so I can immediately pick up the phone and call them. If you call people within 30 seconds of them hitting the button I just hit, it'll blow your mind how much engagement you get, and you'll hear them literally fall off their chair onto the floor. But you know they're in front of a computer or they're on their mobile. You know that they're available because they just spent some time to fill in your form. Call them right away. Don't wait till tomorrow. Okay. And if we actually go take a look at the contact manager in the HourADay system, you'll see that they're immediately added. So we've got Tina Turner in Armenia, and she comes in as a priority 2. Okay, so we bring everyone new in as a priority 2 because a new contact isn't necessarily your most important call to make today. It is definitely your most important to make in real time from the app, but it's not necessarily on your list, the person to call today. You probably already called them by the time you get here. But watch what happens, because now we start the qualification. So we give them a general overview without the use of the company name or the product name. We keep it all blind, and we've captured their attention and they're interested. So if we go back to our sales funnel, they've been said, great, here's my personal information like I promised. So they can contact me right now if they want to. Then we give them a little bit about the MLM secret, which is one of the most innovative ways I've ever learned to show leverage from our mentor, Greg Stewart. Just turned into a real cool video. And then we actually come down and we actually ask them if they qualify. So we make them watch another video to see if they qualify. And that video goes on to ask them a little bit about, do they have money? Right? And some of the questions we asked in the pre-qualification sort of come back up in this video. And then after they've watched this video, they have some options. And they're going to say, for example, I'm qualified. Now, if they click the I'm qualified button, they go off to yet another page that says, awesome, you've self-qualified. We're excited to share more information. Check out my website. If you want, you can get some products. In the meantime, reach out directly. Hey, let's get together and get on this journey together as a team. Now, what's interesting, if we come back and refresh our contact manager, you'll notice that Miss Tina Turner has now turned to a priority 1 from a 2 because she said she's qualified. The reason we don't change her to a 0 to be at the top is we like to keep zeros for the people that we need to call when we expect that we're signing them up. So when it's a closing call, they're ready to go, we like them to be a 0. So we've set Miss Tina to be a 1. But you know what? What if Miss Tina was not qualified and she said, I'm not qualified? Well, again, if we let that happen, it's going to say, sorry about that. Thanks for taking a look. And we do have a little bit of information here to hope to spin her around to see that maybe she is actually qualified. She just didn't think so. Okay. And we've now taken Miss Tina and changed her from a 2, or sorry, from a 2 when she originally was, to now a 4. So we've said she's not interested, so she's not as important as new contacts. She's not as important as qualified contacts. She's less important to call on my people to call today. So you can see now there she is, down here is a 4. And the final thing she might say is, you know what? I'm just not interested. Right? Take a hike, guys. Now, if she says I'm not interested, again, we say no problem. Thanks for taking a look, right? You said I'm not interested, and we appreciate your feedback. Would you be so kind as to shoot me a quick email on what part you didn't like about it? This is one of the most amazing closing techniques I've run across. You ask people what they hated, and then they tell you, and you know their number 1 objection, handle the objection and sign them up. So just because they're not qualified doesn't mean they're not interested, doesn't mean that they're gone forever. if that email comes, you know that you have a live one. But in the meantime, until that email comes, because it most of the time doesn't come, they're not interested. They're not going to send you any information. But if they did, you know that they're way back up. But if they didn't, you'll see that now Miss Tina Turner has turned to a 6. Now let's take a look just for fun, because now that we're in, she's done it, it's time to make our calls. We pull up Miss Tina Turner and we see a bunch of information. One of the interesting things we can do immediately is we can assign her to some categories. So, she happens to be a singer. I actually found her from an online ad. She said that she really likes to be contacted by Line or Kick, and she also is an Instagram lover. So I've now assigned all these categories to her. So down the road, when I've found some cool article about Instagram, I could actually send out an email blast to everybody that I've put into the category of Instagram to give that new information. This is important in the multiple touches, getting to know people, making them feel value in having a relationship with you as you're warming them up to your opportunity. So very, very powerful features here. As we scroll down, we can see all the information that was put in during the survey. Follow up. It's telling me to follow up with her on May 26th. Okay, well, let's say that we want to follow up with her. We've talked to her today. We want to call her in 7 days because she is going on tour back in a week. Okay, so we know all of this about her. Interestingly enough, at the very bottom, we can see what answer she gave to the survey. So everything you need to know to take the next step is right here, okay? So if we actually say we're going to follow her up on June 1st and she's going on tour to be back in a week, we can now either update this record, which will just simply take all the things we've changed and update them. So we'll do that. So you can see that nothing really changes except all the stuff's refreshed and the note gets stamped down here. In a second. Sorry, my internet's a bit slow here. Right? So she's going on tour back in a week. So I get her comment. Okay. I could also say wants to meet on the 12th. And I could actually say to make an appointment on my Google Calendar on the 12th. And this will actually automatically add her to my Google Calendar. And now it says, great, we've added something. Do you want to edit it? Because it just adds it in at 1 p.m. So, of course, I want to edit it. That'll bring open my Google Calendar.
Yeah, that's a great feature.
Yeah. And now I can actually reorganize that. So I can actually change the time of it. I can add other people to it. I can email contact to it. So in other words, the interface we already know, we let you keep using. When I'm done, I click save and she'll be added to my calendar. I'm not going to save her. I'm going to delete it.
You're not going to call Tina on 12?
No, I'm not going to call Tina. No,
right.
You know, we're not that.
Are you prejudging? Are you prejudging?
I am. Yeah. And you can also see that it's added down here so that I can get an easy link to that meeting. So if it's way in the future and I've forgotten when I did it, I can actually click this link and it'll take me there. I've deleted it, so it won't at this point. So again, everything you need is right here at your fingertips. Now, canceled meeting with Tina. And then I can actually say, actually, no, I've canceled that meeting and I want to follow up with her in 7 days. And now I can actually go and I've got 2 options. I can update this record and go back to my action list to see who I need to call next, or I can update this action and go to my all contacts list where I can see everybody, even if they're not on my action list. So first, we'll just quickly discuss the action list. So your action list is all of the people that have a next follow-up date set today or less. Okay, so it's everyone that you need to make a physical phone call today. And we've already looked in the contact manager. So there's another way to easily call. So if you're ready to go, if you just click anywhere that isn't the name, it'll bring up the quick interface. 90% of the time when you make a phone call, what happens is you leave a message. When you click this left a message button, it's going to stamp a note that says you left a message. It's going to set you to not follow up with them again for another 3 days. And it's going to send them an email saying you tried to leave them, you left them a message because you tried to contact them, you got their voicemail. 90% of the time you'll get an email response back saying, oh, sorry, in a meeting, can you call me tomorrow at 2? And you just eliminated about 4 ping pongs with telephone tag. So yep. Very, very powerful. Or I can add a real simple note right from this interface and then leave them on my list. Or in this case, I've pushed her off my list. So you can either do the simple interface or you can go right into the full contact manager. And then, of course, the last thing to show is how the full list of all contacts has everybody that you have versus just the people that are on your need to call today list. So, I mean, that's really the major stuff that I wanted to cover, Craig, on the system, because if you simply know that about HourADay, you are good to go and good to start making more money in your business, even if you don't know about all these other things like mentoring and adding contacts and searching and social connect and campaigns like editing campaigns and emailing group and subscriptions and configuration reminder and a website setup and editing the set and making your own survey questions and landing pages and I mean all of the miscellaneous stuff down here that you can do, like the summary and the insert contact form and the traffic generation stuff. Oh, and the statistics stuff where you can see all the stuff. We don't need to teach you all of that to show you that for $29.99 a month, you're going to make considerably more than that within 30 days by employing this system. It's going to keep you organized. It's going to remind you what you said to them. You know, if we look at someone like George Burns, we can actually remember everything, even if we haven't talked to him in 2 months. And we can see that George Burns, next follow-up day is May 7th. He's a priority 6, which means he wasn't interested, right? And we can see what he answered. He's retired. How can I make $3 million this month? And I can see my last note was he wasn't home. Right? So it just tracks everything, keeps you online, follows up automatically by email. If you're careful about your categories as you're entering contacts, this data becomes ridiculously powerful to your business. So Craig, at this point, I know you use it extensively, so I didn't want to kill the whole time. So you've got 8 minutes to say the parts that you like the most about it. So I'll stop sharing my screen and you want to share yours, or do you want me to just poke around and push?
No, you know what? You know, Dennis, it's great to be able to, you know, to show people that. You know, I've been, you know, I helped to put this together. I asked you to put together for my company, creating templates for those people that are joining us, that are that have their own MLM company. They're a leader in their business. They're, you know, they got a big downline. You'll customize, or your team will customize and help them put together a system. If they can prove they got a big enough downline that'll warrant it. You helped, you know, put this together. This is based on what we learned 22 years ago from real life, and combining, you know, old techniques and the internet, and combining the two things together to be able to make it work. So, you know, you shared the stuff. I think is the most important. Get the system, start using it. You can't break it. Get out there, start talking to people. And if you've got questions, you can connect. They can connect with you or your support team, or they can connect with me.
Yep. Yeah, and remember, the only way to lose money with this system is not to use it. So we welcome your donations. So anybody who would like to spend $29 a month and not use it, I have an excellent deal. I think rather than do that and pay us $29 a month for the rest of your life, you should just send me a check for $1,000 so that it hurts and you never do it again.
So yeah, you might as well stop sharing your screen so we can at least say goodbye properly here, Dennis. So that would be great. So once you get back up there, so I'm just happy you could take some time there out of your morning there in Japan. I know it's busy. We're going to be back here again next week, though. So if you, we're going to be talking about more tips on how to build your MLM business. So tell your team about it, connect with us, ask us questions, because we're just here to share some of the things that we've been using over the past, you know, couple of decades that have helped us create $1 million incomes. Anything you want to finish off on there with, Dennis?
No, I think it's just fantastic. I mean, we're excited to try to fix the industry, excited to try to get more people having success, excited to continue to give people the real way to do this business. And the fact that it does take some work, it does take some skills, but they're absolutely learnable, absolutely doable. And the question is always, if it took 10 years before you made $1 million in 1 year in MLM, would that be good enough? For me, that was plenty fine. Even though my friends seem to think it was weird, I got lots of comments. Yeah, but it took you 10 years. And I'm thinking, hang on, my $1 million is more than you made in the entire 10 years. And I made money all along. So are you prepared for this journey? Are you willing to put some simple tools in place for you and your downline to ensure your success? If you are, we're happy to continue to mentor you. And we thank you very much for taking the time to listen to us.
Thanks a lot, Dennis, and thanks everybody. You have yourselves a great Dennis. Have a great morning. I see other people afternoon, and those out here in North America have a great evening. We look forward to seeing you again next week. Thanks a lot, and have a good night.
Bye for now.